Hello everyone, this is part 15 of What If Naruto was actually helped by the third Hokage, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Naruto walked into the Hokage's office that morning and gave his report with Fu standing behind him. Hiruzen was done being surprised by Naruto, but he was still shocked to hear that his blonde successor could take out two S-class missing ninjas at the same time. The Hokage took the signed treaty and the remains of Hidden. He would collect the bounty from Hot Springs country for Naruto. Mei and Onoki had returned to their countries a couple of days ago, so he sent out messenger birds with the updates on Akatsuki. After taking care of the mandatory tasks, Hiruzen addressed Naruto. Good work, my boy. We had planned on having you take the seat when you were 18, but I believe that you are ready now. Naruto held up a hand to stop his Gigi there. Hokage-sama, I do not wish to take up the mantle at this time. I will continue to support you in the role, but I will wait until the Akatsuki are dealt with. Anyway, this is Fu of Taki. She is the Jinchuriki of the Nanabe, Chome. I will have her stay at my compound until she can find an apartment and train her up. She was not treated very well in Taki, and I plan to rectify that here in Konoha. Hiruzen sighed after taking a drag of his pipe. He had gotten his hopes up that he would be able to dump the Hokage duties on Naruto and go enjoy retirement. Very well, Naruto-kun. Fu, would you wait outside please? I must discuss something with Naruto. He waited for Fu to walk out the door before activating a privacy seal. Naruto-kun, it is clear that Akatsuki is starting to make its move. Danzo is leading a group of Root into a megacore. He hasn't been able to get much out of the region for the past decade and went there last week to perform reconnaissance with a battalion of Root. It seems like the resistance from the minor nations is centered around Am. Naruto paused to take this in. He remembered Danzo's, Jiraiya's and Tsunade's stories about the Hidden Rain country. He remembered the stories of the fights between Hanzo the Salamander and the Sannin. Danzo even told him one of his regrets about how he partnered with the tyrant Hanzo. The whole situation put Naruto on edge. That you for letting me know, Hokage-sama. Please keep me informed on the situation. That country has been a no-man's land for decades now and I get a bad feeling from this. Will do, Naruto-kun. By the way, where is Jiraiya? Naruto adopted his oopsie pose and let out a teehee, before admitting that he left Jiraiya in Taki. Hiruzen outright laughed at this before dismissing Naruto to go pick up his student. The Hokage then called Fu into the office and helped her get set up. He gave her a Konoha Hishi-8, a new ninja ID, starter money and sent her off with Sakura to find an apartment to stay at. Naruto reappeared with Jiraiya in the Namikaze compound. Jiraiya ran off to find Tsunade. Watching the horny teens frolic about on their mission had given him a bad case of blue balls. Naruto wasn't ready for the sandstorm known as Temari when he got back. He was perusing through the fridge wondering what he could make for lunch when Temari spanked him hard on his ass with her battle fan. Naruto rubbed his posterior and closed the fridge before asking, "Ouch, Temari. What the heck was that for?" Temari smiled sweetly, a bit too sweetly, at Naruto. "Oh, I don't know, fiancé. Why would I be mad when you just left me all alone in the house and took out all your wives on a mission?" Naruto held up his hands in a gesture to calm her down. It didn't work. Temari. I just got married to them and wanted to take him out on an impromptu honeymoon. I am sure the blood clone I left informed you of the mission. So, why are you so angry? Because you left me alone, Ruto. Must I spell it out for you? Shouted a petulant Temari. Naruto pulled her into a hug. His toned arm and chest always tended to calm the sand kunoiki down. You can come on the next one, promise. He then planted a kiss on her lips and scooped her into his arms. I don't think so, mister. You aren't getting off that easy. No sexy time from me for a week, she said in a sing-song voice. Naruto pouted and put her down. That's mean Temari-chan. Oh well, I guess I must test my new techniques on Haku. Even thought I made it especially for you. Temari wasn't fooled by the fake pout. It pissed her off that she couldn't really hold the sex card over Naruto because the other girls couldn't get enough of the blonde. She couldn't blame him either. Temari was no prude and she had opened up to Naruto over the past 6 months. After helping Anko, Ino and Haku out of their sex comas multiple times, Temari stopped resisting the inevitable. She had partaken of Naruto greedily and wasn't disappointed by the results. One of the main reasons she was upset with him is because the girls had told her of the nightly orgies in the tent and in the lake and under the waterfall and in the hotel room. Therefore, due to being sexually frustrated for the past 2 weeks, she caved. Okay, fine, Ruto. You can test your new technique on me. You are not allowed to come until I say so. If I am not impressed, or you come before I say so, I will have to think up a suitable punishment. The smirk on Temari's face turned Naruto on something fierce. Naruto threw off a mock salute before scooping Temari up in his arms once again and racing off to her bedroom. He activated the privacy seals and threw Temari on the bed. He growled at her to remove her clothes and she willingly complied. XXX lemon start XXX. Temari removed her battle kimono and pushed herself back on the bed so that she could lay up on the bed rest. She beckoned the now naked Naruto over to her with one sexy wag of a finger. Naruto answered the call and slid up the bed to rest on top of her. He started a passionate kiss and rapidly started warming up the rest of her body. Temari could rival Anko in kinkiness, so Naruto was never scared to try some wilder things with her. He grabbed the light blue bunny-style vibrator and slid it into Temari's mouth for some lubrication. He then slid the vibrator into Temari's pussy and positioned the clitoral stimulator appropriately before clicking it into its first setting and earning a moan. Naruto let the vibrator do its thing while he warmed up the rest of Temari's body. His hands ran up and down her back and sides, using chakra to loosen and prepare her lithe frame. He departed from her mouth to please her nipples for a bit. After his mouth made her nipples erect, Naruto attached vibrating metal clamps to each firm nipple. Temari squealed at this, but Naruto slid 2 fingers into her mouth and pulled a little on her bottom jaw. This spurred Temari to suck his fingers in a sensual manner. Naruto removed his fingers from Temari's mouth and forced her butt up and positioned her knees over her head. She was folded back over herself with the vibrator still doing its thing in her pussy, which Naruto clicked to the second setting. Naruto then used a small water jutsu to rinse out Temari's ass before sliding his tongue into the forbidden hole. A deep moan escaped Temari's lip as she bucked her hips against Naruto's firm grip. A little bit of cum leaked out of her pussy and flavored the rim job Naruto was providing. Naruto then transitioned the vibrator from pussy to ass so he could enjoy the flavor of Temari's pussy. The sweet juices spurred Naruto into providing electrical clitoral stimulation. A few minutes later Temari spazzed out again and let out a choked moan accompanied by more fluid. Naruto let her legs and butt down so she could catch her breath. Naruto then did something unexpected. He tied her up in silk ropes that put pressure in all the right places. The ropes made a harness of sorts that circles around her breasts then her back. The bottom part of the harness looped between her legs and kept them in a slightly separated position. Then Naruto threw a rope over the rafters in the bedroom and suspended Temari face down. Temari was interested by the new technique and her helplessness ignited a fire under each of her kinks. She had mentioned more advanced bondage to Naruto, but did know he would do something this advanced. Naruto gave her some space and summoned 4 clones. Temari's eyes went wide when she saw 5 Narutos and she prayed to Kami she would be able to handle all 5 Narutos. Naruto positioned her just above the bed by adjusting slack in the ropes. The real Naruto gave her a passionate kiss before he slid under her. 1 clone took up his position behind her, 1 positioned in front of her face and 2 Narutos on either side of her. Naruto had spit roasted her once before and that was a magnificent orgasm, but she didn't know if she could handle a Naruto in each of her holes. She was pulled into a kiss from the bottom Naruto as he slid into her tight pink hole. The group let Naruto do his work for a bit before joining the fun. Once she was released from the kiss, her moans of ecstasy were silenced by the cock of the Naruto in front of her. The Narutos on her sides began sending various forms of chakra through the body of the suspended kunoichi that caused her to tighten, loosen and squirm all over. Her squirming caused the silken ropes to tighten and apply more tension and pressure to her erogenous zones. Finally, The Naruto behind her determined she was ready and slid a thick, 10-inch pole into her ass. The movement ceased while she adjusted to the sensation. Temari almost choked on a Naruto's cock due to the surprise and overwhelming amounts of pain and pleasure. During the 20 minutes that followed, Temari lost herself in the orgasmic mixture of feelings and emotions. She was being so overwhelmed that she couldn't even tell her mouth what to do. The Naruto in front of her was just face-fucking her and removing all control. The side Narutos occasionally sent lightning chakra to the nipple clamps but mainly used water and fire chakra to keep her body loose. Her ass and pussy were being assaulted in rhythmic succession by Naruto and his clone. She lost track of time and space. She lost track of herself and everything around her. She didn't know when or how, but when Naruto asked her if he could come yet, she somehow managed to convey, yes. Not long after that, every hole caught a load of seed. The front Naruto pulled out and let her process the thick cum that filled her mouth. Her jaw and facial muscles weren't responding, so it dribbled down her chin. The two Narutos to her sides let her down from her suspension and then dispelled, which just left the two Narutos inside her. They decided to just keep her plugged up and cuddle with her for a while. Temari was left in a comatose state, twitching every now and then for the next 12 hours with a sizable puddle of cum pooling from her pelvic region. The clone that was plugging her ass transitioned into cuddling her and making sure she was okay while the real Naruto went to clean up and grab a bite to eat. XXX lemon end XXX. Naruto left the room with a shit-eating grin on his face and found the Anko, Ino and Haku were waiting for him outside the room. They all looked at him inquisitively before peeking into Temari's room. After taking in her state, Anko demanded that he do that to her as well. Ino and Haku blushed but nodded as well. Naruto got a devious grin on his face and asked one question. Alone or together? All three said together. Naruto took them to his room, which led to a wild night full of Naruto clones, moans and orgasmic fluids. Naruto's room reeked of sex and cum for weeks following that episode, but every time he smelt it, it brought a smile to his face. The honeymoon phase of the Namikaze household followed along these lines. Naruto seemed to have a never-ending stamina when it came to sex. His sexual prowess only grew, and the girls seemed to have grown addicted to him. Tsunade had enough of the 2 weeks' sexcapades, and called the group into the family room of the expansion. Jiraiya was leaning against the back wall for emotional support, but Naruto caught the thumbs up from his godfather before the meeting began. Tsunade was standing in the middle of the living room with her hands on her hips, offering the best disappointed mother look she had. Okay, it goes without saying why I have brought you here. I get that you are all teenagers and newlyweds. I get that this may be par for the course for kids in your positions. However, enough is enough. Look here, brats. We can smell the sex coming off this place from the main house. I have heard more than enough details from each of you. The Hokage gave you 2 weeks off after your last mission, and it is now time to return to the real world. You need to find something to do as a group and as couples that doesn't involve sex. For starters, Anko, the Hokage is pulling you for a mission. Ino, you will be stepping up your medical training with me. Hinata, Team 7 is being pulled for a mission. Kuretsuki, Temari and Samui, you have ambassadorial duties. Yes, I did this on purpose. You all need some separation to get your head screwed on straight. Tsunade maintained a tough tone and posture all the way through her rant. There was a round of protests to this that were promptly shut down by Tsunade pummeling a Naruto clone out of existence. Naruto thanked the clone for the rapid kawarimi, and the girls settled down after that. Don't worry girls, I have enough for my next 3 books thanks to my last month with you all. Jiraiya's boisterous and undeniably perverted statement earned him a trip through the living room wall and out onto the training grounds. This reinforced the silence that the group was stuck in. Now, ladies, are any of you pregnant? I know a few of you have been sexually active for a while and the rest of you started a couple of weeks ago. Any morning sickness, nausea or fatigue? Tsunade adopted a mix between a motherly and doctor-like voice. Surprisingly, Ino, Haku and Hinata raised their hands. Tsunade performed a diagnostic jutsu to find that Haku and Hinata were pregnant. Ino chalked up the morning sickness to an overflow of a certain white liquid. After being properly chastised, the group split off and reported back to their normal duties. Haku and Hinata were told to eat well and take it easy if possible. Kunoichi could perform chakra-intensive exercise up until the end of the second trimester, but any intense chakra use after that could harm the baby. Therefore, Haku and Hinata only had 5 months left for missions before they would be sidelined. Soon it said they could each get a job at the hospital and work through their pregnancies there when the time came. Time apart. That day, each of the ambassadors reported into the Hokage office along with Naruto. Hiruzen asked the girls to take a detailed report with them to their home nations. Naruto was there so he could flash them to their respective nations. Naruto didn't like being used as easy transport, but for his girls he would make an exception. After Hiruzen handed him the message, Fu entered the office. Hiruzen then addressed the group. Naruto-kun, Fu is here because I wish to ask the Raikage for help. Her training was woefully sabotaged in Taki, and she has been forcing her connection with her Biju. This results in her losing control after 2 tails. As you are aware, Kumo is the best place to train a Jinchuriki. I wish for you to drop Samui and Fu off and ask the Raikage this favor. Naruto and Kurama had a brief inner discussion and nodded their heads at one another. Sure thing, Gigi. That is a pretty big ask though, especially since Fu is a Konoha ninja now. Fu spoke up, Naruto-san, I have actually become an international ambassador. They offered the title to all Jinchuriki. Konoha will be my home base, but I will do missions with the international task force. Good to know, Fu-chan. That will make this easier. Anything else, Gigi? Yes, Naruto-kun. Your team has been requested for a mission. You will depart in 4 days. I will inform you of your mission upon your return from taking these fine young ladies home. Oh, and do leave a blood clone. I have grown accustomed to your company, and it helps with the workload. After sighing and subsequently nodding in confirmation that he had received the message, he flashed the girls back to the Namikaze compound. They packed up the things for a month-long stay in their home nations. Each girl said goodbye to the others and Naruto flashed Temari to Sunagakure first. He arrived outside the Kazekage's office and heard groaning from Baki. Temari said she would handle it and gave Naruto a passionate kiss before he flashed away. Temari put a hand over her heart as the flash faded. She hated time apart from her blonde cuddle buddy. 6 months ago, she never would have thought that she would have grown this close to Naruto. However, being in the house and seeing how he spoiled each of his girls made her want even a small sliver of that love. Then, they welcomed her with open arms and Naruto gave her the same royal treatment. Despite the fact that she was the only one not married to him, she was constantly spending time with him, or at least a clone of his. Before she knew it, her heart grew fond of everyone in the house, especially the blonde ball of sunshine. Not to mention the relationships she grew with Haku and Kuretsuki. All of the girls are badass, but she found kindred spirits in those two. She bonded with Haku while training. Haku had grown into a powerful kunoichi, due to take her Jonin exams in 3 months, which will have to be postponed because of the pregnancy now. Temari shook off that side thought and remembered the countless hours over the past 6 months that the two would spend training together. Temari had yet to beat Haku because of those cursed, demonic ice mirrors, but she enjoyed every second of it. Her bond with Kuretsuki surprised her. However, after they got to talking over a glass of whiskey from Earth Country, it all kind of clicked into place. They were both from head families of their respective villages, they were both the best kunoichi of their age groups, they both loved training and refining their elements and recently they both loved talking about their sex lives together. That thought made Temari dread the coming month. Konoha was vibrant and bustling with energy, not to mention surrounded by trees and lush foliage. Suna was in the middle of a depression, surrounded by sand and wind and she would miss her cuddle buddy. Oh well, home sweet home, she thought. She walked into Baki's office after standing outside of it just thinking for the past 5 minutes. When she entered the office, she saw Baki still cursing up a storm. In another desk to the side of the room was Gaara. Gaara still looked like Gaara, but he was missing the, "I'll fucking kill you," aura that Temari had grown up with. She noticed a small smile appear upon the redhead's face as he saw her enter. Hey, Baki, Gaara, I am back from Konoha. Got a message from the Hokage and I will be here for the next month. What's got you so riled up, Baki-sensei? The stream of curses ceased as Baki took notice of Temari. Well, Temari, I am trying to find the funds to not only host your wedding coming up in 6 months, but also the Chunin exams that come with them. I still can't believe that they dumped this on us. Oh, that. You can thank Naruto for that. He said that we would need it to raise money and boost our economy. I agreed with him. You're welcome. The cheery and shit-eating grin that was plastered on Temari's face made Gaara chuckle. The befuddled look on Temari's face upon hearing her previously psychotic brother chuckle turned Gaara's chuckle into a full-blown laugh. Gaara was so unused to smiling and laughing. Then, Shukaku throws in a joke about the incredulous look on Temari's face and now he can't stop laughing. 3 minutes later, the usually stoic Gaara had calmed himself down. What is it, sister? Do I have something on my face? Gaara was aiming for a playful tone and a cheeky grin. Unfortunately, he hadn't quite broken his monotone and facial expressions were still foreign to him. Temari had to shake her head at the awkward expression on her brother's face. She knew that it was thanks to Naruto that she had the chance to experience this with her brother. No, Gaara, it is great to see you try to smile. Now, let me catch you up on the past 6 months and we can work out our problems from there. A yellow flash lit up the hallway outside of the Mizukage's office. Each cage had a safe zone that was labeled with a 3-pronged kunai mounted to the wall. Haku and Naruto appeared once the yellow flash faded and were greeted by Chojuro. Evidently, Mei was having some stress relief time in her office. Chojuro bowed to the two of them and then turned and knocked on the door to the office. After 2 minutes, he was about to knock again when Zabuza opened the door. He saw the three outside and ushered them in. Haku Uzumaki reporting back from diplomatic mission, Mizukage-sama. Haku gave a polite bow to the Mizukage. Naruto knew exactly what was going on in the office before they entered. Hell, the scent was all over the place. He threw a smirk on his face. Mei-sama, how goes the recovery? Did you plan on telling Zabuza to zip up his fly and put his belt back on? Or did you want to keep it like that for easy access once we leave? Mei flushed brilliantly and Zabuza growled. Can it, Gaki? He then adjusted his pinstripe pants and did up his zipper. Naruto-kun, it is great to see you again. Thank you for returning Haku to us. I have a couple of scrolls for the Hokage if you wouldn't mind. I hope things are going well after your run-in with the Akatsuki. Mei used a strictly professional tone to counter Naruto's smartass tone. Things are brilliant, Mei-sama. In fact, Haku and I have something to share with the two of you. Naruto paused here to let Haku take over. Mei and Zabuza looked expectantly at the two. Haku blushed deeply before she stuttered out, we are pregnant. She squeaked cutely at the end of that statement and Naruto put an arm around her waist. The Kiri ninja was stunned, but for completely different reasons. Zabuza was fuming that he should kill this blonde Gaki for defiling his daughter and princess. Mei was stunned by excitement and happiness. Sure, she knew that they would have kids soon, but this was incredibly quick, and she was trying to process what this could mean for Kiri. Both knew that she must now be protected at all costs. Kiri was well on its path to recovery, but there were still remnants of Yagura's forces that were putting up petty resistance to Mei's reign. If they heard about this child, it would be an all-out offensive on the future child of her favorite couple. Mei stood up from her desk, sprinted to Haku and wrapped her into a warm hug. I am so happy for you, Haku-chan. Oh, I can't wait. This is wonderful news. While Haku was being smothered by Mei, Zabuza wrapped an arm around Naruto's shoulders. In a whisper he laid out his threat to Naruto. If you hurt her, I'll feed your blood to my sword. And if you don't protect her in my absence, I will introduce you to a true demon. There was no playfulness in Naruto's tone. He knew the situation and the danger that Haku could be in. Zabuza was taken aback at first, but he stood up and adopted a confident and proud posture. You have my word, Naruto. Nobody will touch a hair on her head. Naruto was then smothered in Mei's chest as she congratulated him. Haku wore an amused smirk. She knew Naruto hated when Mei smothered him like that. Naruto broke free, gave Haku a passionate kiss and promised to pick her up in a month before flashing back to Konoha. Naruto arrived back in the Namikaze compound and found Kurotsuki waiting for him. He wrapped her in his arms and gave her a deep and passionate kiss while placing his hands against her belly. He was worried about leaving her in Iwa in her current state. He also didn't feel like kissing her like that in front of her father or the Tsuchikage. After confirming she was ready, they flashed her outside of Onoki's office. Gramps, I'm home. Kuretsuki called out in a radiant voice as she kicked open the Tsuchikage's office door. Ah, Kuretsuki-chan and Naruto-san. It is great to see you two again. Onoki looked younger than when Naruto first met him. That belt must be doing wonders for him. Tsuchikage-sama, can we please clear the room? Naruto's serious tone broke the revelry of the moment. Onoki noticed the tone right away and made a hand sign. The office was cleared seconds later, and Naruto threw up a privacy seal. Onoki then asked, "Okay, you two. What is it?" Kuretsuki stepped forward. "Gigi, I am pregnant. Only a couple weeks into it, but Tsunade-chan confirmed it this morning. We want to keep it hidden for obvious reasons." Naruto saw the Tsuchikage nod his head in confirmation before he asked, "Gramps, what's the situation with the rebel forces?" Onoki sighed. "Look, you two, it appears the rebels have left Iwa for the most part. They seem to be rallying in Am and Hoshi. They would rather join the greater resistance than bury past grudges. You made the right choice in keeping this private. I have swept our shinobi forces multiple times for dissenters, but I cannot say with 100% certainty that we got them all. Don't worry, Gramps. I have been training with Ruto and the other girls. I am easily at Jonin level, but I guess I will have to wait to take the exams." Naruto added, "Gramps, I trust you to keep her safe while I am gone. She will be here for the next month while I am on mission. I will pick her up then via Horation. Just keep this secret among the family and we should be okay." Onoki nodded. "You have my word, Naruto-kun. We will keep her safe. I have these scrolls for Hiruzen if you don't mind. You be safe, my boy." Naruto gave Kuretsuki a chaste kiss before leaving her to catch up with her grandpa. Once Naruto had left, Onoki began a round of questioning. He was hesitant to put Kuretsuki into this political marriage, but he could see how happy she was, and it brought him great joy. He had noticed the changes in her demeanor throughout the last year. She was far happier and more expressive since Naruto came into her life. "Kuro-chan, how are you feeling with all of this?" Kuretsuki beamed. "Well, Gramps, I never would have thought that I would be pregnant at 16. But Ruto is amazing. Living with everyone is the best thing that ever happened to me. The girls are great and Ruto spoils us to death. If I am honest, my family is my home. I am happy to be back, but I am going to miss them all terribly. I can't put into words how close we have all gotten." Onoki wore a genuine smile on his face. "That's great to hear, my girl. Now to catch you up, I am transitioning your father to take over my role in the next couple of years. I figured that when Hiruzen steps down, so will I. It is time for the new generation to step forward. Your father is currently out on mission dealing with a rebel cell, but he should be back within the week." "Gotcha, Gramps. Anything important to discuss or can I go catch up with my friends?" Kuretsuki waved off the serious talk. She really did want to catch up with all of her peers and distract herself from the absence of Ruto. Onoki chuckled. Sure, Kuro-chan. Go have fun with your friends and enjoy your time. You will have a golem team protecting you. I ask that you accept this and do not attempt to ditch them. It is more important than ever to keep you safe, my girl." Naruto was grateful that he had synced up with Kurama and had a nearly endless source of chakra. A year ago, so many back-to-back long-distance jumps would have nearly killed him. Now, it was a minor drain on his reserves. He appeared with Samui and Fu in front of Mabui, the Raikage's beautiful secretary. She ushered them into the Raikage's office. Samui reporting back from diplomatic mission, Raikage-sama. I looked up from his desk as he was finishing a set of bicep curls with massive dumbbells. He had 2 desks set up to either side of his desk and 2 shadow clones were attending to paperwork. "Good to see you again, Samui. You look like you're glowing. I assume everything is going well." "Hi, Raikage-sama. I am happier than I have ever been. Thank you for bringing Naruto-kun into my life." The expressive tone and heavenly smile on Samui's face brought joy to the normally stoic man's heart. "That is great to hear, Samui. Now, Naruto, I see we have a guest. Would you mind introducing us?" Naruto nodded and bowed. "Hi, Raikage-sama. This here is Fu-chan, Jinchuriki of Chome the seven-tailed horned beetle. She is part of the international task force, and I was hoping that you would offer her training. We will need her at her best in the fight versus the Akatsukian coalition. Do you have any updates on the rebels from your end?" I adopted a stern look upon his face. Yes, unfortunately I do. It seems like our dissenters have fled and joined this newfound coalition of minor nations. I have these scrolls for Hiruzen, if you don't mind taking them with you on your return. Now, Fu-san, how far along are you on your training with your Biju partner? Fu looked shy and out of place. She grabbed onto Naruto's sleeve before responding. Raikage-sama, I can use 2 tails of Chomai's chakra before losing control. Naruto-kun says I am mid-chunin without her power. She is willing to comply, but I am unable to control her power. I nodded. It's alright Fu-san. We have the best Jinchuriki training program here. I am confident we can help you. Fu bowed to the Raikage and Naruto offered his thanks. He grabbed the scrolls from Ai and turned to give Samui a hug. Samui pulled him to herself tightly for a full minute before parting. Naruto gave her a chaste kiss and turned to leave before Samui gripped his face and pulled his lips back to her for a passionate kiss. I chuckled as a bolt guard fell out of his cover with blood leaking from the bottom of his mask. After the kiss ended, Naruto gave her another little peck before separating and flashing back to Konoha. Snow Princess and Icy Pricks. Naruto appeared back in his living room and plopped into a seat. He created a shadow clone to go get him a beer as he caught his breath. He was really going to miss his girls. Kurama opened the connection with Naruto and processed Naruto's long day. It will be okay, Kit. Now, before you go for your mission, I will need to be released. Soon wants some alone time, and I will have to go back to the Sage Woods before your mission is complete. 4 tails should last a month. Sure thing, Q. Have fun with Soom. Don't you think it's about time you two settled down and made it official? Even in Naruto's mind his tone was tired and worn out. You know what, catch your breath first Kit. Yeah, I have made up for my century of isolation and abstinence. I really do like that wild woman, but how can I settle down with her when I am bonded to you? You know what Q? You're hiding behind that bullshit reason. You fear committing to her. Don't. Soom-chan is fiercely loyal, and I have seen all your memories. She loves you. As for our bond, we will figure something out, just like we do with everything else. I mean we have already gotten to the point where I can let you out for a month straight without any chakra supplement. Kurama had growled when Naruto said he feared something. However, as he listened, he had to admit that the kid was right. Naruto had never let him down before and neither had Soom. The more Kurama thought about it, the more he realized that he wanted what Naruto had. A life partner and companion that had boobs. Kurama's voice came through the mind link, but it carried a nervous and unsure tone that Naruto had never had before. You think she would accept being my mate? An actual life partner? How could a human love a demon like me? Naruto sat up, flashed into his golden cloak and summoned Q in his clone form. The golden cloak disappeared, and Naruto sat down even more tired than before. Thankfully, his clone showed up just then with an ice-cold beer in hand. He took a big swig and let out a long, ah, before responding. Kurama, I am sure she will accept you. Hell, her whole clan already has. If you want to make her happy, make it official and commit to her. Have some kits of your own and make me an uncle. And we have been through this Kurama, you are no demon. I don't care what humans called you for centuries. You are my ally, friend and partner. You deserve love and the happiness it brings. Naruto's voice gained a fierceness as he held Q by his shoulder. The look in his eyes burrowed into Kurama and gave him confidence. Thanks, partner. When did you get so good at this? Naruto let out a wry chuckle. Oh, I don't know. Somewhere between dating 7 women simultaneously and marrying 6 of them I guess. Q laughed heartily at this. Damn, Kit. That was well put. Okay, well I am off to go see Soom-chan. Kurama started walking away but froze at Naruto's next words. Q, there should be money in the normal place. While I am gone, why don't you find a nice ring and make it official? Don't freak yourself out, she will say yes. Kurama walked shakily out of the room without saying another word. Naruto chuckled before he finished his beer. Hinata had been listening and walked into the room as Kurama left. I was wondering when you were gonna join us, Hinaheim. Naruto's head was laid completely back over the edge of the chair. Hinata walked up behind him and started giving him a chakra-infused massage on his shoulders. That was really good advice, Naru-kun. If Q makes Sume half as happy as you make all of us, then she is a lucky woman. Naruto reached up and gave a gentle squeeze to Hinata's hand. He then roused himself out of the chair, grabbed a road beer and returned to Hinata to flash to the Hokage's office. When Hinata and Naruto appeared outside of the Hokage's office, he saw Sasuke sitting there waiting for them. After brief greetings, Team 7 walked into the Hokage's office. Hiruzen sat with his feet kicked up on an empty desk. He had a dreamy smile on his face as he sucked on his pipe. The room smelled potently of the good kind of green. He lowered his feet as Team 7 entered. Ah, Team 7, it is good to see you back together again. You are here for your mission, I presume. At their nods he continued. Very good, very good. Team 7, you are to escort an actress and her film crew to Yuki no Kuni to film some scenes and protect them as they finish their movie. The actress is Yuki Fujikaze and the film crew is led by her manager Sandayu Asama. You will meet him tomorrow at 7 a.m. at the front gates to begin your journey to Yuki no Kuni. Any questions? Naruto got an uneasy feeling. He knew of Yuki no Kuni from Kakashi, and it was one of the possible nations listed as allying with the coalition. Hokage-sama, we are a man short, and I am sure you are aware of the current state of affairs in Yuki no Kuni. I believe there is a high possibility of this going pear-shaped. Hiruzen let out another cloud of pungent smoke before he replied through half-lidded eyes. Ah, yes, Naruto-kun, you are right. I figured Haku could fill in the vacancy in Team 7, but she is in Kiri. As for backup, which team did you have in mind? Naruto put a hand to his chin as he thought. Is Team 9 available? It is likely that if we encounter enemy shinobi, they will be wearing the chakra armor Danzo informed us about. If that is the case, I want the previously green beasts of Konoha there for some brute strength. They are available, Naruto-kun. You will have command over this mission. It should be a simple in and out, but I will allow you to take Team 9 as backup. Team 7 bowed to the Hokage before leaving the office. Upon provocation from Sasuke, they wound up on training ground 7 for a spar. Naruto sent out a couple shadow clones to gather Guy and his team to meet them at the training ground. Sasuke believed that Naruto had been slacking for the last year and he wanted to show Naruto how far he had come. Thus, they stood squared off against one another as Hinata refereed the spar. Sasuke wore a confident smirk on his face as he challenged Naruto. Hope you haven't gotten too rusty, brother. I have spent the last year getting stronger and it would be a shame if I left you in the dust. Naruto was shaking out his weariness and looking forward to a good fight. He answered Sasuke's smirk with one of his own. Oh, poor Karen-chan. Sasuke team has been so focused on training that he forgot about his girlfriend. Well, I will have to spank you as punishment for not treating my cousin properly. Naruto's overly playful tone echoed across the field and left Sasuke blushing. Not cool, Ruto. I will have you know that I treat Karen-chan like the Uzumaki princess she is. Sasuke's pouty tone made Naruto and Hinata laugh out loud. Well, Hinata laughed into her sleeve, so it wasn't that loud. Alright, little brother, show me what you got. It has been ages since I got to see you cut loose. The two blurred forward and clashed swords in the middle of where they had been standing. Sasuke was holding the locked blades and tried ducking and spinning into a leg sweep followed by a crescent slash with his sword. Naruto jumped the leg sweep and blocked the slash before lashing out with a kick at Sasuke's head. Sasuke leaned his head to the side to avoid the kick before rolling back into a crouch and creating space from Naruto. Naruto smirked as he lunged forward and continued a kenjutsu battle that would last for the next 10 minutes. Hinata watched the blurs of motion and heard the clang of metal against metal repeatedly sounding across the clearing. Team Guy had gotten the summons from the Naruto clone with the mission scroll and was making their way onto training ground 7. When Guy and Lee heard the sound of fighting, they immediately sprang off to join Hinata in spectating the match. Both of them greeted Hinata in passing as they eagerly soaked in the kenjutsu battle. Their eyes could easily track the movements of the two boys, and they watched as Naruto effortlessly parried a lunge of Sasuke's katana and flipped back to create some space. Well, Ototo, that was a good warm-up, but we have spectators now. Want to remove the seals and kick this spar up another level. Sasuke took a deep breath and smirked. He had just fought Naruto on equal footing. Sure, he was still only on gravity level 3, but that was massive progress. especially since he didn't have an endless chakra battery that fed him. Well, Ruto, I am on level 3. What say you bump down 3 levels and release all weight seals? I will release all my limiting seals too. Naruto welcomed the challenge from Sasuke and reduced his gravity seals to level 3 while undoing his weight seals. Since syncing with Kurama, Naruto easily handled level 6 seals for daily activity. He would occasionally up them to level 7 for heavier training sessions, but more often than not he would just increase the weight on his weight seals. Sure thing, Ototo. Don't blink. The two disappeared again and now only Guy could track their movements. Neji and Tenten had shown up, but even the Byakugan couldn't keep up with the pace of this fight. Neji clenched his fist when he forced himself to admit that Sasuke had surpassed him. He vowed to himself that he would join Guy-sensei for morning training until he could match Sasuke's new speed. He never had any delusions about matching Naruto though. Wow, was the one-word summation of the fight from Tenten's angle. Wow indeed, Tenten-chan. Their flames of youth burn so brightly it is blinding, was Lee's overly excited response. The rest of the group watched as Naruto broke contact again and told Sasuke that they would be going to taijutsu now. The flash of fists, blurs of blonde and black and the sounds of fists connecting with the other's guard replaced the metallic clangs. For another 10 minutes the boys fought until the blurs were replaced with an image of Naruto flipping Sasuke over his shoulder and transitioning perfectly into an arm bar as Sasuke's back left a small crater in the ground. Sasuke tried to struggle out of it, but Naruto's legs kept him pinned down. When he continued to struggle, Sasuke felt a jolt of electricity spread throughout his body and he spasmed a bit before conceding. Naruto let go immediately, hopped to his feet and offered Sasuke a hand up. Great job, Sasuke. With skills like those I have no doubt you will be able to pass your Jonin exams in the next couple months. Naruto's gigawatt smile eliminated any and all of the negative thoughts Sasuke was having. He accepted Naruto's outstretched hand and pulled himself to his feet. As he was brushing the dirt off his outfit he replied, "Thanks, Ruto. I have been working really hard with Itachi ni and I think I am close to getting strong enough." Naruto accepted the serious look in Sasuke's eyes and the tone he was using. Naruto conceded that Sasuke would be able to hold his own for a while against this Madara character. It wouldn't stop Naruto from training his honorary little brother into the ground though. As the two caught their breath, they greeted Team Guy and informed him of the mission. Naruto and Guy would meet Sandayu in the Hokage's office then meet the teams at the gates at 7 a.m. The teams were told to pack for a very cold month-long mission to Yuki no Kuni. Naruto pulled Guy to the side and addressed his concerns about the political instability of the mission and the chakra armors. Guy gave Naruto a big thumbs up before rushing off to check on his young protege. That night at the Namikaze compound was eerily quiet for Naruto, Ino and Hinata. The house seemed strangely empty and devoid of life. Naruto watched a movie with a girl cuddled up on either of his sides. Hinata told Naruto to spend the night with Ino since she would have him to herself all month, which earned a severe pout from Ino. Ino spent the first part of that night getting her fill of Naruto before passing out in a blissful sex coma. Naruto decided to sleep and deal with packing tomorrow. Naruto woke up at 4 a.m. and substituted with a clone so as not to disturb Ino. It also served as great motivation for his clones. The clones accepted the endless training regimens in return for getting cuddle time, sexy time and other pleasurable experiences with his wives. It was a symbiotic relationship with their creator that they were most grateful for. Naruto finished packing around 6 and his clones finished a small breakfast of eggs, bacon, toast and orange juice for Naruto and Hinata. Naruto left a note for Tsubaki, Tsunade and Jiraiya before flashing to the Hokage's office to meet the client. Naruto met Guy next to his tag outside of the Hokage's office and they entered simultaneously to greet the Hokage. After Naruto had entered the room, he unsealed a jar of blood from one of his many storage seals and formed his blood clone. The blood clone took up its place in the desk next to Hiruzen. Hokage-sama, we are reporting in to meet our client and begin the mission to Yuki no Kuni. I want to inform you that I have left Q in the village to spend some quality time with Sume. Where is our client? Hiruzen had just finished his morning breakfast. His old age really caught up with him in the mornings, especially mornings like this where he had to wake up early for a specific client. Naruto-kun and Guy-san, thanks for reporting in so early. The client has yet to arrive, I am afraid. I take it you briefed Gai-san on your concerns with the mission, Naruto-kun. Hi, Hokage-sama. We should have all contingencies taken care of. He was cut off as an old man in a worn-out business suit with grey hair and a grey goatee entered the room. He looked distressed. My apologies, Hokage-sama. We have lost Ms. Fujikaze last night and have been unable to find her. Now it is time to go, and we cannot locate her. Naruto cut in, Sandayu, I presume. Can you provide a photo of Ms. Fujikaze for me, and I will find her. Gai-san, take him to the gate and wait for me. It shouldn't take too long. Guy nodded and escorted Sandayu to the gate after he gave Naruto an up-to-date picture. She was a really pretty young lady, slightly older than Naruto, perhaps in her early 20s. Naruto gave a casual two-fingered salute to Hiruzen and a "Ya-na" before flashing out of the office. Naruto created 100 clones to check out all the bars and restaurants that may still be open at this hour. 5 minutes later, a clone dispelled and informed Naruto of the actress' location. Naruto used Shunshin to appear outside of the bar. As he entered, he saw that there were only 2 people in said bar, the bartender and a young lady that was nearly passed out on the counter. The lady tried requesting another drink from the bartender, which was promptly denied, saying that she had had enough. Naruto guessed this had been the status quo for a while. He gave the bartender a sign for 2 drinks of sake as he sat down next to the actress. What's got a pretty lady like you so down in the dumps? He asked casually as he slid a saucer of sake over to her. She didn't even lift up her head, she just rolled it on her arm to get a better look at the newcomer. She saw an incredibly attractive blonde teen and she was sure she recognized him from somewhere. She slurred out her response, "Washitoya. Tanks for tea drink, hiccup, but I done wanna talk, 'bout it." That bad, huh? Well, I figured I could lend a pretty lil lady like yourself an ear, but if you don't want to talk your problems out, I will just grab another drink and go. He made a signal to the tender for another drink. The girl's arm shot out, knocked over her empty saucer and grabbed his arm. No, wait, I'm sorry, I do have a job that I done wanna do. And my boss, Sandwichu, ish gonna make me do it. Oh, okay, well why don't you want to do this job? If I remember your face, you are a famous actress and I really like your movies. Naruto led her along to gather more information. Yuki perked up at this and assumed a suspicious posture. She had many encounters with crazed fans and Blondie's comment put her on edge. Oh, so you issue another crazed fanboy then? Well ish not gonna work. I won, sleep wish you cause you know me from my movies. Naruto held his hands up defensively. Trust me, Yuki-chan. I have no desire to pursue you in that way. I have 6, soon to be 7, wives already, which is more than enough for me. I just wanted to lend you an ear and help figure out what's eating at you. Now Yuki was taken aback. All guys wanted her. Everywhere she went guys threw marriage proposals and "I love yous" out like they were candy. Now, this one hot, scratch that, very hot, blonde guy doesn't want her. And he has 7 wives. She couldn't help the offended look or snort that escaped her. Well, ain't you some big playboy? 7 wives, huh? Whatever, I don't wanna take this job because it is taking me to a place that I used to call home. Too many bad memories there. Suddenly, it all clicked for Naruto. Sandayu had the look of an old war veteran, Yuki's reluctance to go to Yuki no Kuni and the binge drinking session to block out old memories. Yuki-chan, are you perhaps Kayuki Kazuhana, the lost princess of Yuki? Is that why you do not wish to return? Now Kayuki was freaking out. Nobody except Sandayu had known of her past. The shock sobered her up quickly and she looked around for ways to make an escape. Naruto put those thoughts to rest by placing a gentle hand on her wrist. Look, Yuki-chan, I don't mean you any harm. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and I have been hired to escort you to Yuki no Kuni to help finish your movie. If you are worried about enemies attacking you, I assure you that I can handle it. I had my suspicions already and now I know they were well founded. I cannot make you confront your past, but I will help you do so if you wish me to. Yuki was taken aback by Naruto's directness. She had flinched when he put his hand on hers, but it was so warm, comforting and gentle that she accepted it. Then she looked into the endless azure depths that were his eyes. Kami, Those eyes are entrancing. She found empathy and acceptance in those eyes. That glowing smile hidden behind such warm, welcoming lips. She leaned forward and tried to kiss his lips, but he leaned back just enough. As she was approaching him, she fell into his chest and passed out. Naruto thanked the bartender, tipped him and picked up the passed out actress princess style. Sandayu nearly had a heart attack when Naruto showed up with Kayuki passed out in his arms. Naruto directed him to a private area with Guy to have it out with the lying man by flashing his ass to the Hokage's office. Sandayu ended up coming clean to them all and still requested help. Naruto's team was already well equipped to deal with an A-ranked mission, so Hiruzen accepted the new mission. Help Kayuki regain the throne and deal with the insurgent Doto. Naruto flashed Guy and Sandayu back and told Sandayu that he would have full military command of the mission while he could direct the film crew. Rock Lee, the brilliant beast of Konoha, had returned to his green color once again. While Lee was wearing traditional leaf shinobi attire, that is not what was making him green. It was the endless ebb and tide of the ship rocking back and forth on the waves. It was Lee's first mission and they had already been at sea for 2 days. The poor Konoha Chunin had been leaned over the rail and puking for most of that time. He couldn't even train with Naruto, join the conversation between Teams 7 and 9 or watch some of the movie scenes that were shot on the ship. Hinata had given him some anti-nausea medication and provided some comforting healing chakra, but the seasickness always won out in the end. That is why Rock Lee was so excited when the ship stopped by a massive ice glacier. Now, he could rest and recover a little bit. The crew decided to stop here and shoot a scene for the movie. Coincidentally, Naruto was supposed to be in the scene with Yuki. The film director decided not to bring the male actor that would play the princess love interest and replaced him with Naruto. Naruto had objected vehemently until Hinata asked him to do it. She said she really wanted to see him in one of her favorite movies. After that, it was pretty much finito for Naruto's resistance to the role. Kayuki had woken up on the ship 2 days ago in a very pissed off mood. Naruto figured she would be mad and had volunteered to be her cabin's guard for the whole first day. That is why he was not surprised when the newly awoken princess jumped at him. After calming her down and talking things out with her, Naruto got Kayuki to agree to taking back her rightful position in the country. He accomplished this by petitioning her help in his path to world peace. He told her about his life story, his wives and how they had come so far in achieving peace. Then, he told her about the coalition of minor countries and how Yuki no Kuni was lining up to be one of those countries. If Doto kept leading them down the path to rebellion, Yuki no Kuni would surely be destroyed. Naruto didn't want that and neither did Kayuki. She reluctantly agreed to help Naruto and become the princess of Yuki as long as Naruto agreed to act in the movie with her. Thus, for the past 2 days, Hinata had been sexually frustrated and very jealous. Yuki was constantly hanging on Naruto's arm, acting out scenes with him, flirting unabashedly with him, and the whole time she was doing all of this, she had a genuine smile on her face. Hinata couldn't stop the growth of the terrible green monster in her stomach. She planned on telling Naruto when Yuki was shooting one of her solo scenes coming up on the glacier. That was when she was sent to scout the glacier with Team Guy and Sasuke. Naruto had sensed some chakra signatures and chose to let Guy lead a scouting party on the massive glacier. He had the crew stay on the boat until the all-clear was given. That was when he felt the chakra spikes and sent multiple clone captains out to get a better view of what was going on. Before the clones left, Naruto caved to the director's pleas for them to each take a film camera with them. The clones shouldered the massive cameras before taking off. Clone 1 ran around the left side of the glacier to a set of chakra spikes that it could perceive. The clone came into view of a fight between a girl with pink hair dressed in chakra armor that had wings sprouting for the back of it. It appeared as though the wings were severely damaged from a barrage of weapons from 1010. There were a few kunai that were still stuck into the wings, which made them unable to fly or retract. The clone watched as Hinata blurred forward and used the Juken 8 trigrams 64 palms on the immobilized kunoiki. At first, Hinata's Juken strikes weren't appearing to do much damage. However, the Naruto clone noticed that Hinata upped the chakra in each strike once she got to 32 and 64 palms. The end result was the chakra armor looking like it had absorbed a full magazine from a fully automatic rifle. There were dense and precise holes in the armor, which left the pink-haired kunoichi stunned. Tenten appeared behind said kunoichi and knocked her out with a mace to the back of the poor girl's head. The pinky's eyes rolled into the back of her head and Hinata caught her. Hinata placed a paralysis seal on the kunoichi's neck and began transporting her back to the ship. Clone 2 ran around the right side of the island and found Neji and Sasuke fighting a guy with chakra armor that was moving on a self-propelling snowboard. The snow ninja stood a full head taller than either of the leaf shinobi, but it was clear that he was on the defensive. Neji was in the middle of a close-range assault on the ninja while Sasuke was flipping through hand seals. The snow ninja was just thrown back from Neji's use of the Kaiten heavenly spin when Sasuke let out a thick lightning bolt at the airborne snow ninja. The lightning bolt hit the snowboard on the ninja's feet, which evidently didn't have the same protection as the chakra armor. There was a mid-sized hole burned into the bottom of the snowboard and the ninja fell unceremoniously onto his face. As he was getting back to his feet, Sasuke blurred forward and took out his katana. The Naruto clone watched a quick and precise slash from Sasuke. As Sasuke sheathed his katana, the man's head parted from his neck. Naruto yelled at them to hurry up and seal the body when a massive explosion rocked the glacier. Clone Captain 3 had appeared over the peak of the glacier to find Guy fighting a man with purple hair tied into a ponytail wearing a white chakra armor with blue lines on it. Guy was fighting evenly with the man and Naruto could see a fair number of dents in the snow ninja's armor. The snow ninja took a punch to the stomach and used that to flip back and create some space. He was flipping through hand signs and then called out, "Hyoten, massive ice whale," as he slammed his hands into the ground. Guy was caught flat-footed as the glacier shook, and a massive whale made of ice emerged from the glacier. The whale attempted to swallow Guy whole as it jumped in a majestic arc from the glacier before crashing into the frozen landscape. The Naruto clone immediately substituted with Guy to get him out of harm's way. That was all of the memories Naruto received and processed as he heard the ice whale impact with the glacier. Suddenly, the massive glacier started breaking apart. Hinata and Tenten were already close to the ship with the Naruto clone, so they hopped onto the ship. Neji, the Naruto clone and Sasuke were jumping from ice block to find safe passage back to the ship. They made it just after a deafening crack was heard from below water. Finally, Guy was jumping down from the peak of the glacier while carrying the camera. He looked like he was having fun navigating the collapsing obstacle course. Finally, he made it safely back to the ship. The ship's captain immediately took off and avoided the watery sinkhole caused by the collapse of the glacier. Once the ship and crew were safe, they held a ship-wide meeting to review their current situation. It was at this time that everyone was informed of Princess Kyuki Kazuhana's true identity and the true mission that Sandayu had hired them for. Naruto also informed them of the likely rebel status of Yuki no Kuni and the risks that posed. Then, as if the crew wasn't shocked enough already, Naruto informed them of the possible presence of Akatsuki members. The ninja informed the film crew of the severe risk that was associated with this mission, but after the film crew saw the awesome footage taken by the Naruto clones, they said it would be well worth the risk for this masterpiece in the making. Now knowing the full stakes of the mission, Team 7 and Team Guy broke off for their own huddle. "Alright, status report from both teams, please," Naruto said in a commanding tone. Sasuke led off. "Neji and I fought the snow ninja on the snowboard. His skills were nothing crazy, but the chakra armor is very resilient. It resisted Neji's Juken, my katana and both fire and lightning jutsus. After disabling the snowboard, I beheaded him and have his body and armor secured in this scroll." Sasuke handed the scroll to Naruto and Neji nodded in confirmation of Sasuke's report. Hinata then spoke up, "I agree with Sasuke-san. The chakra armor was very strong and resilient. My initial Juken strikes didn't do much. However, when I overloaded the chakra and focused it into needles, it was able to penetrate the armor. Our opponent, she called herself Fubuki, had wings that extended from her armor, which enabled her to fly. Tenten neutralized the wings with wind-enhanced kunai that were able to penetrate the wings. We neutralized our opponent and have her secured with a paralysis seal in a secure room. Her armor has been removed and placed into this scroll. Thank you, Hinata-chan. Well done. Guy and I will interrogate her when we are done here. Guy-san, how about your opponent? Yosh, Naruto-kun, your leadership is so youthful. Sadly, My opponent was able to escape. He was skilled in the martial arts and use of Hyoten Jutsu. My fists were unable to penetrate the armor, but I did damage it. Your clone saved me from that ice whale that destroyed the glacier. I am most grateful for that. The ninja called himself Nader Roga and mentioned something about my eternal rival Kakashi. He also said that we could leave unharmed if we handed over Princess Kayuki, as if we would ever do anything so unyouthful. I think he will return to inform the enemy forces of our impending arrival. Yes, I was having that same thought, Gai-san. Okay, so we will need to plan out our arrival carefully and take precautions. Sandaiu has a safe harbor for us, and we will link up with the local rebel forces that have been communicating with Sandaiu. Once in Yuki no Kuni, we will deal with any enemy forces before we even think of shooting scenes for the movie. Once again, Naruto's tone demanded respect and all present nodded in confirmation to his plan. Naruto and Guy spent a couple hours interrogating the prisoner while Hinata guarded Kayuki. The princess had started to crush hard on Naruto and figured there was no harm in talking to Hinata. She didn't know that Hinata was one of Naruto's wives. Hinata-chan, would you mind telling me more about your teammate, Naruto-kun? Kayuki's voice was unusually timid, and a blush adorned her cheeks. Hinata took note of the kun suffix and bristled. She knew it wasn't Naruto's fault, he just had that effect on women. However, she was against adding any more women to the burgeoning harem. Well, Ruto is my husband. We were married a couple weeks ago. There are 6 other girls as well. He treats us very well and it is the happiest house I have ever lived in. Kayuki blushed further upon realizing that Hinata knew of her intentions. She stuttered out an apology in a high-pitched voice. Sorry, Hinata-chan. I didn't know. I thought that you were just a teammate. He told me about multiple wives and rebuilding his clan. It's just that he is such an amazing guy, and he is the first boy I have ever had a crush on, and I really don't want to offend you, but if he can take multiple women, I was hoping he would consider taking me. The heartfelt and stuttered apology was a rushed blur of words at the end. Hinata sighed and put her head in her hands. Yeah, Ruto has that effect on women. I don't think we are taking any more girls at this time. He is an amazing guy, and he will do all he can for you, but I ask that you understand. While he can spoil us 7 girls silly, he doesn't want to make us seem unappreciated by sleeping around and recruiting more women to his harem. She stopped here and giggled. In fact, we had to convince him to take his 7th wife and now she is like a sister to us all. Kayuki perked up when she heard that. There was just the faintest glimmer of hope for her. In an all too innocent voice she asked, Ara, and why would you all convince him to do that? Hinata sighed and planted her face in her hands as she responded. Well, it was a condition to make the peace treaty with Sunagakure work. It was kind of funny when we look back on it. In the span of 3 months, he went from no girlfriends to 6 fiancées. The glimmer of hope got slightly brighter. So, if I take over and offer an alliance on the condition of marrying Naruto-kun, then would he accept? Kayuki tried to come off as playful, but her blush made her look more abashed for asking. Hinata thought about telling Kayuki that Naruto said he wouldn't take any more wives for a second but decided to give her a non-committal answer. She could tell where this was going and didn't want to break the girl's heart mid-mission. Well, Naruto would probably resist, but it is ultimately up to us girls. Uzumaki tradition says that any future wives must be accepted by the current wife or wives. Naruto relies on us to limit him. Now blushing furiously with her mind spinning out of control, Kayuki just offered a weak, "Oh, okay." Hinata let the topic drop there and lightened the conversation by talking about Kayuki's acting career and her plans for it when she takes over as the daimyo. Kayuki hadn't really thought that far ahead, but she really wanted to keep acting if it were possible. The two continued a light conversation well into the night before getting some sleep. The next afternoon, Naruto and company landed at a dock in a small harbor. The town had seen better days. Like everything in Yuki no Kuni, it was covered in ice. Old wood houses with sloped roofs covered in snow and ice and chimneys pumping out smoke. There was very little activity in the town as evidenced by the snow on the main street being unmarked by fresh footprints. Sandaiu walked him to a slightly larger wood house and introduced Naruto to his contact. This town housed nearly 100 samurai from Sosatsu Kazahana's private guard. They left Doto and went into hiding after the rebellion. They have been biding their time and waiting for Kayuki's return while running small campaigns to undermine Doto's reign. Naruto filled the group in on his plan and gave them their instructions. The group spent the night in that town to get their final rest, and then teams 7 and 10 left the town. Sasuke and Neji could barely hold in their laughter as they walked, and Lee and Guy were too bashful to scold them for it. Naruto had used his transformation jutsu to transform into Kayuki, which didn't seem to bother him at all. That was likely thanks to Anko and Ino having him transform into his female form on multiple occasions to play with him. Due to Kurama's potent chakra and kitsune illusions, Naruto actually transformed when he used his henge. It was more potent than Tsunde's special henge, and it left the door open to wild experiences and experimentations. The group had traveled for half a day and was exiting a tunnel that burrowed through a mountain pass. Naruto had clones driving the transports that the film crew planned on using. Naruto's plan was to draw Doto out by casually traveling with a bunch of his clones transformed into the film crew with him as Kayuki. He knew Doto would be watching and was now just waiting with a baited hook. Of course, if they somehow managed to drive all the way up to Doto's castle, then Naruto would probably just open up and destroy the place. However, he figured discretion was the better part of valor until he could confirm Akatsuki's presence. Just as the convoy exited the tunnel, Naruto heard a loud horn blow, and it came from the tunnel. Naruto created 100 shadow clones to flank the road they had been using, and Team 7 and 10 took up cover behind the convoy. A train exited through the tunnel, which was a new sight for all Konoha ninja. The large steel locomotive that was billowing steam was a truly strange sight for ninja that typically traveled by foot or maybe horse and carriage. It was interesting that this little country had such advanced technology. Team Naruto was broken from their musings as the train came to a screeching halt. Suddenly, all side doors on the train opened to exposed catapult-like creations that sent wave after wave of kunai at the Naruto clones. The clones were under orders to act like samurai, so they didn't use any flashy jutsu. They created a thin wind barrier to deflect most of the kunai and then played dead to make their attackers believe that they had won. A minute later, Doto and Nader appeared on top of the train in their chakra armor with a sinfully confident smirk plastered on their faces. The trains then unloaded 100 or so soldiers, that were dressed in standard uniform. Naruto was glad that they did not have chakra armor, otherwise this would have been an incredibly difficult fight. Konoha scum, hand over the princess and I will spare your miserable lives. That is most generous offer I will give you, considering that you killed 2 of my finest ninjas. Doto's loud and boisterous voice cut across the expanse that separated train from convoy. Guy, under Naruto's instruction, responded. Who are you? Why did you kill all of those innocent samurai that were protecting us? I am Doto, the ruler of Yuki no Kuni. You will hand over the princess or forfeit your lives. You have 1 minute to decide. Naruto, transformed as Kayuki, looked at Guy and gave him a nod. Under the orders of our client, we are going to stand down. If you try to attack, know that you will lose many men for your trouble. In addition, we want your word that she will not be harmed. Harming her could mean war with the Leaf and our allies. Guy scrunched his face in disgust and mock protest to the orders he was given. According to the previously established plan, Teams 7 and 9 feigned frustration and outrage. Doto waved him off and laughed at the foolish Konoha ninja. So long as the bitch complies, she will spend the rest of her days in a jail cell. And you should know better than to make idle threats. You tree huggers would never go to war for a single girl. Especially not with all the enemies you have created lately. Naruto, Henga's Kayuki, for the rest of this part one will just say Yuki, walked forward with a pace and posture that denoted the dignity and grace of a princess. She walked over to Doto's train, and when she was halfway, a boisterous and condescending Doto spoke. You have 1 day to get clear of Yuki no Kuni. If you remain on my land, you will not be spared. Teams 7 and 9 worked with the Naruto clones to turn the convoy around and hastily depart. Once they were out of sight, Doto had the train resumed its course back to his castle. The first thing Doto did was rip off the necklace that Naruto had transformed to make it look like Kayuki's. She told them that it was a parting gift from her father, and it was supposed to unlock something for the country. Then, Yuki was forced to endure nearly an hour of gut-wrenching condescension, disgusting looks and inappropriate touching. She just bided her time and knew that retribution would be oh so sweet. It was going according to plan, and she would just have to grin and bear it. Yuki was forced to endure the very unpleasant trip to the castle followed by a degrading walk of shame to the jail cell. The whole trip, Naruto made rude comments to dig up information on the country. Sadly, the information was light, but it sounded like the Akatsuki were not currently in Yuki no Kuni and Naruto wouldn't have to deal with them, which made the plans significantly easier. Naruto took in the mountainside fortress that was built along the edge of a cliff. It created a terrifyingly strong natural defense that would make a frontal assault an instant death sentence. Sandayu had informed him of this and that was why he had to suffer through this humiliation. After she was chain-walked through the castle to the jeers of many soldiers, Yuki was thrown unceremoniously into a jail cell. After an hour, Doto stopped by to brag to Yuki about how tomorrow he would finally have the ultimate weapon that Kyuki's father had created. Yuki offered little resistance throughout the pompous monologue and played the part of the dejected princess that had given up all hope. This resulted in Doto severely underestimating her. There were no chakra restriction seals, not that they would have worked on Naruto. The cell Yuki was placed in was a standard, run-of-the-mill cell and the cuffs were nothing that Yuki couldn't deal with. Once night fell, Yuki asked the guard to be escorted to a proper restroom. The guard and his partner came in to make fun of the captured princess and hopefully watch her pee her pants. They had been ordered not to harm her, but Doto never said they couldn't humiliate her. You know what, princess, that is what that pot is there for. And since you let us know that you have to go, I think we will sit here and watch. I've never seen a princess pee before. One of the guards responded and both were clutching their sides and laughing in a clearly perverted manner. Yuki turned her back in disgust to the guards. She then broke her cuffs, summoned 2 kunai from her wrist seals, turned around and fluidly launched 2 kunai through the bars and into the necks of her guards. Naruto dropped the transformation and created a clone just outside the cell with the orders to get the keys and open the cell. Naruto didn't expect his clone to spit on the 2 fallen soldiers in disgust. Naruto took the kunai launched they had strapped to their wrists and sealed them away for further inspection later. He placed his hand against a wall and left a Horatian beacon. He then had the clone transform into Kyuki and lock itself back in the cage. It was to dispel if it became unsafe to transport his team in. He then flashed to the kunai that he had given Hinata. Hinata was worrying about her beloved and Sasuke had spent the better part of the evening consoling her. He kept telling her that this was Naruto's plan and he had things under control. Kyuki was racked with guilt and was constantly by her side like a mother hen. Guy and Lee were agitated but directed their efforts into preparing the samurai for the attack. It was decided that Naruto would infiltrate, get a Horatian marker down and then transport the whole offensive force to storm the castle overnight. He outright refused meeting Doto in open combat on Doto's terms. Sandayu was grateful for this when Guy told him about the encounter with the kunai launchers. Neji and Tenten were huddled in the corner and assuaging each other of their concerns. They had grown really close since Neji stopped being Fate's twat and apologized to her. Suddenly, a bright yellow flash lit up the assembly hall where the Kyuki's forces were gathered. The room fell silent as Naruto stood on a podium with Kyuki to his left and Guy to his right. His commanding and professional voice carried across the hall. I say this with no exaggeration. The men in that castle deserve no sympathy and I am glad I had the foresight not to make Kyuki Haim endure that humiliation. The enemy numbers somewhere between 300 samurai and 20 ninja. The only Jonin-level opponents are Doto and Nader, which my team will handle. I will be transporting you in groups of 10 into the prison area. It is on the bottom floor. We will maintain stealth and absolute silence until the alarms are sounded. All kills prior to the alarms will be handled by the ninja. The Akatsuki is not present at this time, but they have been here recently. Team Guy will lead the samurai contingent to the barracks area. We want to take out as many as we can as quick as we can. I ask that you put aside the concept of meeting your enemy in open battle for tonight. With that, I will pass it to Princess Kyuki Kazuhana, the rightful leader of your nation. Kyuki stepped up and hesitated for a bit. Naruto gave her hand a gentle reassuring squeeze and she addressed the warriors assembled before her. You are the resistance, and you are fighting an enemy with superior numbers and knowledge of the castle. I ask that you follow the battle plans for Naruto-san and Guy-san. They have demonstrated their exceptional bravery and combat awareness to me. I want you to remember this: there is more honor in victory than death. I ask you to fight and live for your country and help guide it to a brighter future. I will do my part to ensure that the future of Yuki no Kuni is brighter than ever. She closed her statement with a bow to the warriors that she was sending to death's door. The samurai let out a great battle cry. Naruto went down the rows of samurai and shook hands with each of them. He did this for the sake of moral and to impart a small amount of Kurama's chakra on him to make the mass Hiraishin transport easier on him. After he was done with the samurai, he did the same with his mission team. He thanked each of them for trusting him and gave them more of Kurama's chakra. Each of them was enveloped in a thin, red haze that gave them a significant power boost. Lee couldn't stop himself from jumping up and down to test his new power, an action that was mirrored by Guy. Okay guys, we are heading into a real battle. That means limiters off. All weights, all gravity seals and anything else that will inhibit you are to be removed. No Guy, I don't care. I know you will be okay, but think about this. Even if you are fine, what about the men we are asking to fight alongside us? If you take a minute longer in each fight, how many potential allies will we lose for the sake of your training? If there is nothing else, weapons ready, we leave in 1 minute. Naruto's firm command cut off the protests of Guy, Lee and Sasuke. Their looks of frustration morphed into resolve and understanding when Naruto gave his reasoning. Naruto left the group and walked over to Kayuki. She had a guard detail of 10 samurai that were going to stay with her. He gave her a Hiraishin kunai and told her that he would come and get her when it was all over. In return, she thanked him and planted a quick kiss on his cheek. The samurai protested this while Naruto just said thanks and left to complete the mission. Naruto flashed into his golden mode and created 10 clones to transport teams of samurai in. Their travel was to be staggered in 30-second intervals to give previous teams time to clear out of the relatively small prison area. Naruto had his mission team each touch him and took Hinata's hand in his before flashing to the prison cell. Naruto noticed his clone had positioned the dead guards inside the cell and out of the way. Naruto noted the time was now exactly 1 a.m. The team quickly made their way into the guards' rest area and made sure everything was clear. He could hear the next team arrive and just kept moving forward. All samurai were teleported in without incident and Naruto could hear the small clang of swords and armor as the large group trailed him. For samurai, they were being quiet. For ninja, they were practically parading through town. Naruto had the samurai hang back a bit farther on the cleared path in order to avoid detection. Naruto didn't want the alarms going off until the main battle group was much closer to the barracks. Naruto gave hand signs to his team: 4, enemy, samurai, split, 2, and 2, Sasuke, Lee, Neji, Guy, 1, each. His team nodded to his command and Naruto staged at the door. He slapped a sound suppression seal on the door and counted down for his team. As Naruto opened the door, the assigned 4 ninjas sped through and took out their assigned guard in less than 3 seconds with zero noise. Naruto sent hand signals back and resumed the slightly stealthy march of the samurai contingent. They got to the room that would cause them to split. At 120 am, Naruto handed command to Guy as the group split. The hall was lit by torchlight, but everyone present could see their commanding officers communicating via hand seals. Guy signaled the main contingent to follow him toward the front of the castle while Naruto, Hinata and Sasuke ascended a spiraling staircase by moving from shadow to shadow. Team 7's target was the throne room and command room on the top floor of the castle. On each floor, guards were posted and, on each floor, guards were killed. The efficiency of Team 7 was brilliant. Sasuke without his restriction seals was a blur of motion and death. Hinata without her seals was graceful and refined movement that left nothing to waste. They sealed up the bodies of each guard killed and were able to reach the door to the top floor by 135 am. Naruto was staging outside the door when the alarms finally sounded. Guy, Lee, Ten and Neji had moved quickly and gracefully ahead of the samurai contingent and were efficiently removing enemies on their way out of the castle toward the barracks. Unfortunately, upon exiting the front gates, they were spotted, and the alarm was raised. Guy could have kept his team in the shadows, but it was not the strength of the samurai. Once the alarms were raised, Guy had the samurai go loud and charge the barracks. Guy, Lee and Neji charged up the walls to the ramparts to engage and disable the guards. 10-10 was a flurry of motion that produced unending amounts of kunai with the graceful precision of death. The battle of Doto's castle was now full-blown and the screams and sounds of battle overwhelmed the night sky. Back with Naruto, immediately following the alarm sounding, 10 samurai and a low-level ninja ran through the door. They met a swift death at the hands of Team 7. Naruto couldn't decide if it was a bad thing that seeing Hinata's face speckled with blood turned him on. He buried that thought and charged into the command room, which was the room before the throne room. The room was filled with 8 ninja and samurai that were working the night shift. Hinata's kunai finished 2 of the guards in the back as Naruto and Sasuke's swords finished 3 each. Team 7 was a rolling ball of death at this point. Without much pomp or ceremony, Naruto entered the throne room flanked by Sasuke and Hinata. Upon entering the room, Doto was seated on his throne and Nader was in front of 20 samurai that were aligned in a battle formation. Doto, being the pompous bastard he is, challenged the group. Konoha scum, you thought you could catch me unprepared. Well, we are ready for you, and you will meet your deaths this night. I must ask, how did you infiltrate my castle? Naruto transformed into Kyuki and feigned being a helpless princess, which made Sasuke's smirk transform into pressed lips that were trying to suppress a laugh. Naruto transformed as Yuki then gave Doto his reply while putting a palm to his forehead in an exaggerated posture. Oh, Uncle Doto, you are so mean. You don't even recognize your own niece. You really are a bastard. Naruto undid the transformation. You are a prideful and ignorant man. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze and I will end your false reign this night, prick. Doto growled and flicked his hand at Naruto's team, which made the samurai charged ahead with their katanas drawn. Their battle cry was cut short as Sasuke let out a kaiten, flame dragon bullet, and Naruto enhanced it with a futon, wind cutter. The massive blade of air spanned most of the throne room at belly height. It caught the fire jutsu, absorbed it, and created a flaming blade that was a centimeter thick and 40 feet wide. The charge of the samurai transformed into a scene that Hinata would prefer never to see again. The bisected swords and burning bodies of the samurai, the burning flesh and the rapidly expanding pool of blood painted a gruesome sight upon the throne room. Doto and Nader stood stunned as the ninja mopped up their forces in one move. Thankfully, their chakra armor had negated the attack, but now Doto knew he had to run. He ordered Nader to engage and buy him time, but that plan failed when Sasuke engaged Nader solo and Naruto and Hinata chased after him. Doto blew a hole in the wall and sprouted chakra wings on his armor as he flew out into the night sky. He fell a kunai hit him in his shoulder blade, but it did little to stop his escape. If he wanted to salvage this situation, he would need the weapon that Sosatsu had created. With that in mind, he flew to a mountain in the distance. Naruto turned after throwing his kunai and watched the conclusion of Sasuke's fight. Nader was a strong opponent, but Sasuke had his limiters off. The Sharingan flared across the battlefield leaving an eerie red glow as Sasuke danced with Nader. The chakra armor already had multiple dents from Guy's fight and now cuts accompanied those dents. Blood could be seen trickling from the cut armor. Nader was getting desperate, and he was launching wide-scale jutsu in the enclosed space. His last jutsu was a Hyoten, Ice Blizzard, which sent shards of chakra-infused ice flying around the room in a chaotic display. Unfortunately for Nader, Sasuke had created great fireballs that created a path of melted ice straight at Nader. Nader kept up his jutsu knowing his armor would absorb the attack. However, he was expecting Sasuke to come immediately behind the fireball. As the last of the fireball was absorbed into the armor, Nader could barely make out the edge of a blade. Before he could react, the tip of the lightning-covered blade made a slash across the front of his throat. The attack was at the very edge of Sasuke's range, but the one slash was all he needed. Nader collapsed to his knees clutching his throat, which did little to stem the spurts of blood that gushed through his fingers. Sasuke sheathed his blade and walked past the kneeling Nader. The man collapsed forward onto his face as Sasuke reached Naruto and Hinata. The two were now looking down on the courtyard and watching the tail end of the battle. There were already shouts of victory echoing across the night sky. Naruto turned around and sealed up Nader's corpse. He asked Sasuke and Hinata to clean out the room with some fire and water jutsu while he went to pick up the princess. He could feel his Hiraishin kunai still moving and figured he would have time to collect Kyuki. Kyuki had been pacing across the assembly hall for the past hour. It was now 205 am and she hadn't heard back from her forces. She was started to get concerned. Her guards told her to sleep, but how could she possibly sleep when men were fighting and dying for her kingdom? Her kingdom? Oh Kami, can I really do this? She started hyperventilating and clutching at her chest. One of the samurai noticed this and was making his way over to her when a yellow flash lit up the empty room. With a casual wave, Naruto assuaged Kyuki's fears. What's up, princess? Did ya miss me? Kyuki ran over to Naruto and threw herself at him. She didn't care about the casual tone or the cocky smirk, she was just glad that he was okay. He caught her in his arms and let her cry out her worries into his chest. It's alright, Kyuki Haim. Doto has fled and the fortress is ours. I planned on taking you there now so you could assume command over your forces. Doto got away, was her panicked reply. Don't worry, princess, I have him marked with my kunai. And my clones were able to capture some great footage of the battle for our movie. I think the director will have to censor a lot of it, but he will flip when he sees it. How can you be so casual, Naruto-kun? I mean look at you, you have blood all over you. Is everyone okay? Naruto shooed off her concerns. I'm fine. This is a couple specks of blood, none of it mine. I don't know about everyone, but I can safely say we won. Okay, then what are we waiting for? Take us there already, Kyuki commanded. As you wish, princess. Naruto gathered the samurai and flashed the group to Hinata's Hiraishin beacon. The group arrived to see a burnt and poorly cleaned throne room, but at least there were no bodies. The smell of blood and battle hung heavy in the air and the sounds of cheers could still be heard from below. Naruto flashed to Gai's kunai and gathered the commanding forces to join them in the throne room. Sentries were posted on the wall, and they had captured over 100 prisoners that said they no longer wished to follow Doto. The prisoners were stripped of their weapons and detained by 20 of Kyuki's samurai while the rest joined the princess in the throne room. At 315 am, Kyuki was about to address her forces when Naruto sensed the kunai come to a stop. After consulting with Gai and Kyuki, it was decided that Team 7, Neji and Lee would go after Doto. Naruto gave Kyuki a reassuring smile before gathering his team and flashing out of the fortress. They appeared on a flattened mountain top that appeared to have a frozen lake covering half of it. The team noticed 3 large monolith-like structures with Doto in the middle at the command console. Doto noticed the flash and turned on the team. Where the fuck is the real crystal? This necklace is a fake. Doto's face was marred with an expression of sheer rage. Oh, you couldn't figure that one out already. I transformed some old necklace to look like the one on Kyuki Haim. Now are you going to come peacefully, or do I get to have at least one good fight tonight? Naruto's casual tone taunted Doto into fighting. Doto flipped through hand signs and launched 2 twisting beams of ice at Naruto. He used the tiger hand sign while taking a deep breath and thought, Kaiten, flamethrower jutsu. The condensed beam for fire shattered and melted the ice beams. It charged straight through them and hit Doto, who gladly absorbed the attack. Your attacks are useless. This is the newest generation chakra armor. It can stand up to Biju attacks. Doto called out while laughing maniacally. Oh, really? I guess I will put that to the test. Naruto flashed into his golden mode and produced 10 clones. Each clone flashed through hand seals and launched, futon, wind cutter, and launched 10 precise blades of compressed air at Doto. The real Naruto inhaled deeply once again and called out, Kaiten, majestic flame annihilation. The flames that Naruto spit out had a deep, red glow to them. The fire rolled out and expanded rapidly in all directions from the original stream that Naruto created. The wall of flame engulfed the 10 wind blades and created a majestic wall of dark red that had 10 burnt orange slashes leading the charge. The attack was so quick and wide scale that all Doto could do was bring his hands up to cover his face. 3 of the wind blades impacted on the armor and sent Doto flying into the now unfrozen lake. In the span of a couple seconds, the heat from Naruto's flames had melted through nearly 2 feet of ice. As the flames died down, they revealed the barren floor of the rocky mountaintop that was bare of snow, and there was no longer any water present. It had all been flash evaporated away. There was no sign of Doto until splashing was heard from the lake. Doto jumped out of the lake and his armor was glowing red in some kind of warning. Doto's hair was completely burnt off and his voice was raspy as he screamed out, "Hyoten, twin black dragon blizzard." Two dragons made of black ice formed out of ice that was still on the far side of the lake and lurched toward Team 7. Naruto disappeared in a yellow flash and appeared behind Doto with a Odama Rasengan held in his right hand. Naruto sped his right arm forward and plunged the giant ball of chakra into Doto's back between his shoulder blades. Naruto continued to apply the pressure until Doto was face down on the rocky floor of the mountaintop. The Rasengan had shrunk a bit upon contact with the armor, but the brilliant red flashing ceased all of a sudden and a shattering noise could be heard from Doto's armor. The Rasengan continued eating into Doto's spine, working quickly through the heart and lungs and finally met the now bloody floor of the mountaintop. As Naruto ceased the attack, he saw that Doto's neck and shoulders were separated from the rest of the lower body by a 3-foot sphere of destruction. There was nothing left of the man's torso, only his lower body remained. Naruto sealed up the head and quick burnt up the remaining limbs. "Damn, Ruto. You were really holding back in our spar, huh?" Sasuke's comedic tone cut across the stunned silence of the mountaintop. "Yup. Sorry, Ototo. I would never use that attack on someone I love. I'm just sad that he was able to eat my wind blade and my majestic flame annihilation. That must have been quite some armor to take that hit. Oh well, that fight was so underwhelming." Hinata raced across the expanse and jumped into Naruto's arms. She engaged in a lip lock with him for a full minute to cheer her Ruto-kun up. That was until Sasuke told them to get a room. Naruto made a quip that was a good idea and flashed away, leaving a stunned Sasuke. Sasuke stood there, fuming, thinking that Naruto had left him to walk his way back to the fortress. He sat there for 5 minutes and was about to start the long walk home when his whole team, Sanayu and Kyuki, appeared laughing their butts off. When the team saw the look on Sasuke's face, they redoubled their laughter. This made Sasuke pout more, which inspired more laughter. This went on for 5 or so minutes before Sasuke launched a great fireball at the group. Naruto threw up a casual tiger seal and mitigated the fireball with one of his own. Then, the group decided to get serious. Naruto guided Kyuki to the console in the middle of the 3 monoliths and let her handle the rest. She saw a diagonal slot in the console, removed her necklace and placed the crystal into the slot. A projection appeared upon the screen of old footage from Kyuki's childhood. It played out a conversation between her and her father. She told him how she wanted to be more than just a benevolent ruler to her people, she wanted to be an actress as well. Her father laughed and told her that she would bring spring to the endless winter of Yuki no Kuni. Then, those assembled heard a deep hum and saw the monoliths light up and produce a dull red aura. The aura emanated a comforting heat over the mountaintop, and what little snow remained started melting. If they would look over the mountain's edge, the whole mountain was starting to thaw out in an even radius from the monoliths. The message from her father had brought tears to Kyuki's eyes and she was letting them fall freely. Naruto approached and put a comforting arm over her shoulders. She turned into his warm embrace and cried into his chest. Hinata fought the feelings of jealousy and tried to appreciate the touching scene in front of her. Sasuke thought that he couldn't possibly add another girl to his collection, while Guy and Lee joined Kyuki in compassionate tears. Sasuke then thought, how could his mother love this big buffoon? Neji stood patiently behind Hinata, just making sure that she was okay. Sandayu thought the director couldn't have done this scene better if he tried, and he had the camera up on his shoulders to capture the moment. The following week was filled with Kyuki, Teams 7 and 9, the samurai and her loyal forces spreading the news that the rightful ruler of Yuki no Kuni was taking the throne. The fortress was picked clean of anything valuable and promptly demolished. That was Ten's favorite job ever. She orchestrated the destruction and nearly came in her pants as she watched the chain of explosions that sent the castle plummeting down the cliffside. Throughout the week, snow across Yuki no Kuni had steadily melted, the landscape thawed out and green grass could be seen poking through the previously barren ground. The people were overjoyed by the changes and welcomed the entourages proclaiming Kyuki's rise to the throne. 2 weeks after the fall of Doto, a public ceremony was held and over 10,000 citizens of Yuki no Kuni showed up for Kayuki's coronation. It was a grand event that Teams 7 and 9 attended. Naruto had flashed back to update Hiruzen, and he had gotten approval to assist in the recovery and finish the movie. The film crew was ecstatic to film the recovery, the reactions to the new heros of Yuki and the coronation. After the big ceremony, Naruto flashed Team 9 back to Konoha. Hinata and Sasuke wanted to stay with their teammate and finish the movie. Over the 3 weeks after Doto's fall, Kayuki had confirmed her feelings for Naruto. She had tried to bring it up on several occasions, but never could find the nerve. His smile was radiant, and his presence comforted her. She decided that today would be the day. The final scene for the movie was being shot and she was supposed to have a steamy makeout scene with the hero, which of course Naruto was playing. Naruto had gotten Hinata's approval for the scene and he was oblivious to Kayuki's affections. Hinata wasn't oblivious, but she figured that the girls could ruffle his feathers every time they watched the movie in the future, so it would even itself out. The moment of truth came and Kayuki finally got to lock lips with Naruto. He was originally too shy to go all out, so the director made him redo the scene. Hinata cut in and told him to kiss Kayuki like he kisses her. The next take had to be redone because Kayuki came and passed out from pleasure overload. Naruto had used chakra to enhance the kiss and used chakra in his hands that ran down Kayuki's sides and planted themselves on her butt. When he squeezed and let out a small chakra burst, she cried out in pleasure as her eyes rolled back into her head and she passed out. After she recovered and Hinata was done laughing, they took the final take. It was still a panty-dropping kiss that would capture the hearts of all women viewers, but Kayuki wasn't left in a wet heap this time. Kayuki pulled Naruto aside and confessed her feelings to him after the shoot. She tried to give him another kiss, but he declined and said he didn't want to be unfaithful to his girls. They deserved better than that. She had cried thinking that he totally rejected her in the nicest way possible. He lifted her chin and placed a kiss on her forehead before telling her that she could call on him anytime. Hinata waited until Naruto left the scene before approaching her. "You see what I mean, princess? He is too good to us. He would never think of betraying our trust. Yeah, that just makes me want him more." Watching him walk away was like watching the sun set for the last time, Hinata-chan. "I don't want him to go, but I know he must." Her sniffles punctuated her statement and made Hinata speak up. "I am not going to promise anything, and I don't really want to do this. However, you're a good girl, and I will give you one shot. Write a letter to the girls that explains your feelings. I will talk with them and see if we could come to some sort of agreement. I will say that if you stay here, it will probably not happen. Naruto would never leave one of us behind." Kayuki gave a sad nod to this. "Thank you, Hinata-chan. Maybe I will get Spring Country back on its feet and hand over the reins. I know it has only been a month, but I have really come to adore that blonde barker." Hinata got Kayuki's letter and left the newly named Spring Country that night with Naruto and Sasuke. They reported into the Hokage with another peace treaty for the council to review. Hiruzen was pleased that they dealt with the potential threat of Yuki no Kuni and that there was no Akatsuki presence. Now, they had one less minor nation to concern themselves with. Hiruzen gave Team 7 a week off and dismissed them while asking for a written report in the next 3 days. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.